on this Saturday night, fleeing an explosive wildfire. More than 20,000 residents in BC's interior, including our global news team, forced to evacuate from one of the fastest fires crews have ever seen.
Everything's gone. It's all gone.
New details on the wildfire fight and the forecast. President Trump's former lawyer is named the new Attorney General.
The choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche.
The implications for the independence of the U.S. Justice Department. Plus, fighting for fish.
I really wanted to get involved in helping to save the world.
Why this BC conservationist just had a species of seahorse named in her honor.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple.
Take a look at this terrifying video as 20,000 people in BC's Okanagan region fled for their lives last night. A fire first reported at 5:30 Friday afternoon near the community of Summerland suddenly exploded in size, leaving little time to escape. Good evening and thank you for joining us. BC officials just held a news conference, the Premier declaring a province-wide state of emergency. And BC's wildfire service warned the conditions are explosive and unlike anything they've seen before. This is the evacuation zone, the largest so far this year, covering the entire municipality of Summerland, BC. Surrounding areas are now on high alert. Sarah MacDonald begins our coverage tonight.
It exploded with frightening speed and ferocity Friday evening, and just a few hours later, homes were burning as thousands of British Columbians fled the fast-moving flames closing in on the entire district of Summerland in the Okanagan. Some 12,000 residents ordered to evacuate overnight.
Everything's gone. It's all gone.
Dozens flown out by helicopter with no way out by road.
Hope no one stuck it out as long as we did because they would have been burnt.
We are preparing to leave this area.
The flames growing in real time on live TV. A global news crew packing up and pivoting fast as the fire grew too close.
You guys get out there. Your safety is paramount.
What the fire is going to do.
One regional district official finding his own home was under evacuation order while keeping the public informed.
I need to get home to my family and take care of that part of my life.
The Bald Range fire, classified as a rank 5, burning so aggressively it consumed some 50 square kilometers or 5,000 hectares of land in just 3 hours after it first ignited. It's since grown much larger.
You could feel the heat inside the house starting to rise, and it was pretty obvious it was time to get out.
Many evacuees leaving nearly all of their belongings and their livelihoods behind the fire line. And in this rural part of the province's interior, filled with farm and ranch land, countless animals are still there.
This here is just ranches, full of ranches and tons of animals, horses, everything. And I just want everybody to get out.
Premier David Eby urging all British Columbians under evacuation order to get out if they haven't already.
I know many families are facing an unimaginable day today. People have lost their homes, and many people have been displaced. Others are waiting for news about loved ones.
With the loss of homes, a certainty, and any loss of life, still a very real possibility. Sarah MacDonald, Global News.
For more on the wildfire situation tonight, let's go to Global's Taya Fast, who joins us from Penticton, BC, where many of the evacuees have gathered. And Taya, as we just saw in Sarah's report, you had your own close call last night.
Jeff, that's right. The fire moved so incredibly quickly towards us Friday evening. What started as a smaller sized blaze exploded only within hours to thousands of hectares and towards where we were standing, and the entire hillside was consumed with smoke and large flames, and the sky was glowing orange that within minutes we had to make the decision to leave the area and get off the air. We've heard countless stories from people who have lost their homes. Initially, electoral area F, Folder, and West and North Summerland were impacted, but the situation changed quickly. The entire community of Summerland was ordered to evacuate around 12:30 Friday night, and a local state of emergency was declared. We tried to leave northbound shortly after, but were turned away because the fire had jumped the highway and was burning on both sides. Thousands of people made their way south towards Penticton, and now most, if not all, large parking lots in Penticton are full of campers, trailers, and vehicles of those people that fled late in the night. Any evacuees who need support, the recommendation is that you check into ESS online or visit one of the reception centers. And there's two, one in Penticton at the Penticton Trade and Convention Center, and there's also one in West Kelowna at the West Bank Lions Community Hall. Now, the support for these evacuees has been overwhelming. We've seen dozens, if not more, volunteers going car to car in the parking lots. The pile of donations out front of the Trade and Convention Center is just growing by the minute, and there's lots of food here and other necessities for evacuees to take. Jeff?
All right, Taya Fast in Penticton, BC. Take care. The fires around Summerland and across BC are being fueled by hot and dry conditions. Let's go now to Global News meteorologist Yvonne Schell. So Yvonne, can we expect any relief?
Thanks so much, Jeff. Unfortunately, there's no reprieve in the forecast. We continue with hot and dry conditions, and the big concern, especially as we get in towards the peak temperatures, afternoon and early evening, is when we see the lowest relative humidity, and that's also fueling the fires. Starting off with a few photos that have been captured. This one from Vancouver City Councillor Mike Klassen, taken in Summerland. Another shot from Summerland showing the explosive fires. This one taken by Ted, and a shot from Peachland showing the fires, and this one was captured by Kim. Here's a shot of what it looks like from NASA. Above, we can see that thick smoke blanketing much of the southern interior. It'll be similar as we get in towards tomorrow. We've got poor air quality and reduced visibility. Also, we're looking at windy conditions picking up 20 and up to 30 kilometers per hour from most areas near Summerland. Much of the southern interior will see the winds pick up once again tomorrow. It'll be quite similar. So no reprieve in the forecast. We're also seeing those temperatures soaring Sunday, Monday, and into early next week. Upper 20s, closer to 30 degrees. Wednesday, Thursday will be into the low 20s. There's no break or significant moisture, and we're also seeing the air quality warning that still remains in effect. So those with respiratory issues will want to try and limit the amount of time spent outdoors. Latest fire danger rating for the southern interior sitting at high. Many spots across the interior sitting at extreme. Jeff, back to you.
Global News meteorologist Yvonne Schell. Thanks, Yvonne. And turning to other news now, U.S. President Donald Trump's former defense lawyer has just been confirmed as Attorney General after a close vote in the Senate overnight. Todd Blanche's appointment puts a close Trump ally at the helm of the Justice Department. As Candice Cole reports, Democrats and some Republicans are voicing concerns.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 49. The nomination is confirmed.
Early Saturday morning, in an overnight vote, the U.S. Senate confirmed Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General to lead the Department of Justice. Blanche, U.S. President Donald Trump's former personal attorney, had been serving as acting Attorney General since Pam Bondi's ouster in April over her handling of the Epstein files. For weeks, Blanche's confirmation was in limbo as multiple Republican senators, enough to tank the vote, voiced concern over Trump's anti-weaponization fund, set up by the DOJ, largely seen by both parties as a slush fund for January 6 rioters.
Your positive response?
Blanche had testified early on that the DOJ would not move forward with implementing the fund. However, it took Blanche formally terminating the fund Sunday to get some skeptical Republicans on board.
I've never liked this 1776 fund. It made no sense to me, and I thought it was an insult to the police officers and the people that defended us on January the 6th. It's done. It's been rescinded, and I am satisfied.
Due to Senator Mitch McConnell still being out on medical leave, Blanche could only afford to lose 2 Republican votes, which ended up being Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. At the 11th hour, Senator Bill Cassidy, who lost his Republican primary due to falling out of favor with Trump, cast the deciding vote confirming Blanche.
Mr. Blanche is not perfect, and he will tell you this, but the choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche.
Following the vote, Blanche posted on social media saying he is deeply honored and grateful to the Senate for staying late to complete the process. For many, Blanche's confirmation further calls into question the independence of the DOJ from doing Trump's bidding. Candice Cole, Global News, Washington.
In Ukraine, another round of Russian airstrikes targeted Kyiv and its surrounding region overnight. 4 people were killed, including a 3-year-old child, after Russia launched more than 150 drones and several ballistic missiles. Ukraine's Air Force says most of the drones were downed, but they were unable to intercept the missiles. Ukraine is facing a shortage of its air defense systems. And today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the U.S. has agreed to monthly deliveries of those air defense munitions, but he stressed that more help is needed. Turning to the growing diplomatic spat between Italy and Spain after thousands of migrants rushed into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta last week. Italy temporarily reimposed border controls with Spain, defying the EU's open border policy. And now Spain is firing back with travel restrictions of its own. Erik Bay reports.
A Spanish police officer checks a passenger's documents as they step off a flight arriving at the airport in Madrid. The country introducing border controls against Italian travelers after Rome imposed its own sanctions on visitors from Spain. The measures coming after an estimated 72,000 migrants rushed from Morocco into the Spanish territory of Ceuta late last month. Some leaders criticized Spain's policies and suggested they'd played a role in the breach. In response, Italy started enforcing border checks against people arriving from Spain by sea and air. The checks interrupt the European travel zone known as Schengen, which normally allows citizens of most EU countries to move around Europe freely. The union says member states can temporarily introduce controls for serious threats, but should only do so as a last resort.
Everything
that has happened strikes me as utter nonsense, says this Italian traveler. We just keep going, hoping it will end. The Spanish government had told Italy to lift the checks by Sunday. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's office says it has no intention of ending its measures until at least August 15th. No, I don't like this situation. It's a bit too chaotic, says this man. Spain's government says its controls will stay in place for at least a month. A dispute that's just a way to divert attention and dodge actual action, according to this traveler. Erik Bay, Global News, Edmonton.
Dangerous drought coming up. Why water levels in America's largest reservoir have fallen to record lows. Parts of Asia are in the grips of a record heat wave. Temperatures in South Korea surpassed 40 degrees Celsius. The prolonged scorching conditions are being blamed for more than 20 deaths there this year. In Japan, at least 14 people have died from heat-related causes this summer. And 3 lions in a Tokyo zoo died despite efforts to shelter them from the blistering temperatures. This summer's record-breaking heat wave in Europe is causing rivers there to shrink and exposing secrets hidden below. From sunken warships to an unexploded bomb, relics are resurfacing, offering a glimpse into the past and a warning about the future. Taria Isri explains.
History is rising from the river as the Danube's water levels drop. A German ship from the Second World War has resurfaced in eastern Serbia, left behind by the retreating Nazi army, and now exposed by a modern-day drought. As you can see, ships can't pass anymore, says this Serbian man. The river is too low. Traffic has slowed this summer, but in 1944, the port town near Romania was jam-packed.
The river and canal routes of Central Europe.
Around 200 German vessels were deliberately sunk in the region as the Nazis came under Soviet fire. Today, the rusting hulls have become both a curiosity and a consequence of the extreme heat.
We started measuring river flows and levels, say about 2 centuries ago in different parts of Europe. And of course, in some areas a bit longer. This is unprecedented.
The receding waters are revealing other wartime relics, including an unexploded bomb in the Rhine, prompting German police to evacuate a stretch of the riverbank in Cologne on Thursday. And in Bulgaria, something thousands of years older, the remains of a woolly mammoth. The animal was enormous, says this museum curator, standing nearly 5 meters tall. Its lower jaw, tusks, and other bone fragments are now visible in the drying riverbed. Perhaps the most eerie discovery in the Danube, a so-called hunger stone from the 1800s, a marker placed at the low water level, telling of drought, crop failure, and hardship.
Water issues are basically growing everywhere across the world.
A past warning made more urgent by the present-day challenge of climate change. Taria Isri, Global News, Montreal.
And water levels in the largest reservoir in the U.S. have fallen to a record low. The lake, which stretches along the Utah-Arizona border, supplies water to more than 20 million people. Prolonged drought conditions and low snowpack are contributing to a significant drop in water levels at several Colorado River Basin reservoirs this year. Help for the unhoused. Still ahead, a potentially precedent-setting court ruling expands supports for people living in tents. Nova Scotia's highest court has ruled that people living in tents should qualify for additional social assistance benefits. That case began when a Halifax man living in a tent was denied those benefits. As Heidi Petracek explains, the ruling could carry implications for unhoused people right across Canada.
In 2023, many people were living in tents in Victoria Park, right across the street from our office.
And so lawyer Vince Calderhead would go talk to them, which is how he met Bradley Lowe and learned the provincial government had denied Lowe's request for extra social assistance money allotted for accommodation expenses because he lived in a tent. Calderhead took the case pro bono all the way to Nova Scotia's highest court.
The Court of Appeal overturned all the lower rulings and said, yeah, when you look at the word accommodation, it's broad enough to include someone living in their tent.
It means instead of receiving the base amount, roughly $400 a month, a person living in a tent should qualify for more than $900.
Money that allows someone some human dignity and a stepping stone towards being able to live healthy, normal lives.
More than 2,000 people in Halifax alone don't have a place to live.
But the province has to make a decision here whether to continue to fight it all the way to the Supreme Court or to enact the rules as decided by the court or change legislation.
So we have a lot to unpack in terms of this decision. It may be, looking at our current legislation and regulations, whether we have to make changes.
The minister insists any changes would be designed to help homeless Nova Scotians get into stable housing.
If they somehow tried to rewrite the regulations to undermine this victory, that would be extremely cruel.
Oh, good boys.
Andrew Goodsell lived in a tent for more than 2 years until he finally found a home this week. And he believes the province isn't doing enough quickly enough.
Let's talk about 35 plus years of no public housing. People that are looking to reach their best need to have their basic needs met.
Lowe will never see the money. He died in his tent downtown 2 months after he was initially turned down for the extra support. His mother continued with the case in his name in the hopes of helping others like him. Heidi Petracek, Global News, Halifax.
Up next, why a species of seahorse was just named after a BC professor. Welcome back. A professor from British Columbia is making a name for herself. Amanda Vincent has conducted decades of research and conservation efforts for marine life. And in recognition of those efforts, a newly identified species of seahorse will now be named after her. Kylie Stanton reports on the rare honor.
From the beginning, the goal was simple.
I really wanted to get involved in helping to save the world.
But sometimes big ambitions start small.
We're involved in pioneering a lot of breakthroughs because who doesn't love a seahorse?
For decades, Amanda Vincent has been working to secure the future of these creatures and their habitats. As co-founder of UBC's Project Seahorse, she helps lead a global team in research, conservation, and policy, which includes ensuring seahorses aren't over-harvested for traditional medicine, aquarium displays, or the souvenir trade.
Fishing is necessary, fishing is vital, but it's got to be done in sustainable, sensible ways. And this means we work at a lot of different political levels, from local communities right out to United Nations conventions.
Now her life's work is being recognized in a way that runs deep.
This is my beautiful seahorse.
A newly identified species has been named Hippocampus Amanda Vincente in her honor.
I'm thrilled. It's pretty wonderful to wake up and open your email and discover just 2 days ago that there is a creature on the other side of the world that is beautiful and wonderful and special and has your name on it.
The seahorse measures roughly 16 centimeters. It has a short snout, a small crown on top of its head, and spines running along its body. Researchers believe it's primarily located in the Indian Ocean.
And that's really all we know at this stage because it has not been investigated in the wild.
Cue the next mission,
which is to get in the field with my glorious seahorse and actually learn about its ecology and its vulnerabilities and conservation possibilities and try to make sure that all is well.
Seahorses are under tremendous pressure. Roughly a third of them are known to be threatened. But with every discovery brings more understanding and a chance to turn the tides.
We've got new approaches, new tools, new colleagues involved. So it's very exciting to see that we're changing the trajectory by the passion and the hard work of a lot of people.
Kylie Stanton, Global News.
And that is Global National for this Saturday night. I'm Jeff Sumple. And tonight's Your Canada is this country's largest street festival. The Taste of the Danforth in Toronto's Greektown neighborhood is making a comeback this weekend after a 2-year hiatus. Around 1.5 million people are expected to sample the 3-day celebration of Greek heritage. Looking good. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back here again tomorrow. Have a great night.